Well, hello, my friends. I'm back. I was looking through my board game shelf to see what I haven't played in a while, and I came across Time Stories. And I don't know if this is going to work, but let's give it a shot. Let's try and solo film this game. Now, it's been out for a while, and I would say it's kind of a polarizing game, okay? I think people either love the concept or absolutely hate it and are bored by it. So I understand both sides of the story. I can see where both are coming from. This is Groundhog's Day, okay? And this is a game that you're going to lose. You just are. That's the way the game is set up. You're going to lose it. I guess in a perfect random number generated world, you might win this on the first try, but that is not what it's designed to do. It's designed to be lost. And getting your mind around that can be tough for some people because not only do you have to lose it, you then have to sit down and replay the exact same game again. And that can just be too mind-numbingly boring for some. I play a lot of video games, and so for me, I think of Cuphead is all the rage right now, right? And the idea is you start the level, you play it, you die, you have to go back to the beginning. Start the level, you go a little farther, you die, you go back to the beginning, and you keep replaying that level until you can make it all the way through and beat the boss, and then the game is saved in video games, right? And so there's that. I'm used to playing through, dying, going back to wherever my saved game was, picking it up, playing the same thing again. And the second time you play it, you're faster, you're smarter, you get through it quicker. The third time you play it, you're breezing right to it. The fourth time you play it, you don't even notice the beginning of the level, and you can just zip right through to get to the boss at the end. And that is the setup of Time Stories. The first time you play it, you only get through a fourth of the game, and then you die and you reset. But the next time you play it, you go in with a little bit of knowledge, right? And so you're going to get halfway through before you die, and then you reset. And then the third time you play it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is it. We know enough to make it all the way through. But you got to sit through those early failures and be okay with it. And that's not everyone's cup of tea. So if it's not your cup of tea and this bores you, I apologize. Come back later. I'll have something more exciting for you. But I never played this when it came out because there's also a replayability factor, all right? Once you play through a scenario, you know the gimmicks, you know the clues, you know the outcome. So you have to wait a while before you can replay it again and get that same experience, right? And when the game came out, it came out with one scenario. And so if you played it, you ruined it for everyone. Now, I think they're up to 7 scenarios, and there's a ton of fan-made scenarios you can download. So there isn't that problem of spoiling the game and then what do I play? So there's enough scenarios out there. I feel like we can pick one and go for it. And I went on Board Game Geek and I asked what's the quickest, easiest scenario to do. And the answer is pretty much Endurance, Antarctica. So I've never played it. I do own that scenario, so I thought we'd give it a try solo. All right. Now, the gimmick of this game is simple. You are time agents, all right? And there have been certain moments in time that have been found to be pivotal. And your time agency pinpoints these moments, gathers together a group of agents, and inserts them in the time loop at a certain point, all right? They'll insert you in like 1 week before the cataclysmic event occurs, and you have exactly that much time to figure out what's going on and how to stop it before the event occurs. Now, if you fail, and trust me, we will fail, you will get pulled out. So if the cataclysmic event happens, you'll get pulled out of the time loop and reinserted back at the beginning to try again. And kind of reminds me a little bit of that Sherlock Holmes detective agency game, where the whole idea was to see if you could solve the puzzle before Sherlock Holmes. I never could. Sherlock was smarter than me. Time Stories is the same way, right? You have so many runs you're supposed to get it done in, and if you don't get it done, you fail the scenario. Well, who cares how many runs it takes you? The idea is, right, to solve the mystery. So it doesn't get me tied up in knots if I don't make the suggested run time, this doesn't bother me, but you know, if you're really in it to win it, that you could probably make this a little more aggressive of a play. So we're gonna play 4 time agents, 4 different characters. They're gonna have their own little stats and abilities. And we're going to be inserted into the time loop, and we're gonna be given a certain amount of time on this time track. This scenario will tell us what it is. And as we take actions, time is gonna progress down until we hit the big 0, and we've either solved the mystery or we're reset and we start again. Okay, so I do a couple of home rules, and I should probably start with those right now. It isn't entirely clear what you're allowed to do while you're doing these time runs, okay? And it doesn't say you can't do this in the rules, so and especially because my memory isn't what it used to be, and there's a lot of information. So when we play, we take notes. I like to think that as a time agent, we have been trained to remember facts and details. We probably all have augmented photographic memories for all I know. And so instead of trying to remember all the information, because you'll see there is a ton of red herrings and bizarre clues, and in trying to remember it failed me. I just couldn't do it. So under Board Game Geek again, there's a bunch of really cool files to help you. This was one of them. It's just a run log, and you say, where were we? What did we find? Take a note. Do I need to go back there? So when the time loop resets, which it will, I can say, you know what? We went to the kitchen. It was a dud. There was nothing there. I don't ever want to waste my time going there again. So this is a cool little one, an agent run log, or just somewhere to take notes. I would highly recommend this, and you'll see that as we go. The other thing is you find these cool little tokens throughout the game, and a lot of times you'll go to a location that's locked, and it'll say you can't open this door until you find the black solid token. And so an hour goes by, you pick up the black solid token, and you think to yourself, wait a minute, I saw that somewhere. There's a door somewhere in this story that needs to get unlocked. Does anybody remember where it is? And no one remembers, and it devolves into chaos. So the other sheet that I find very useful is this one. It lists all the possible tokens. Where did we find it? And what is it needed for? Is it a red herring token that in fact we don't have to bother getting? Or is it a massive clue that we must have, so our second, third, or fourth run through, we know, got to get that black token first before we do anything else. Where do we have to go to get it, right? These sheets are lifesavers. I would highly, highly recommend, if you want to reduce your frustration level with this game, to take some notes and really impart that with everyone you're playing with. I played with a group, and we were all taking notes except one person at the table who was just not paying attention. And of course, that person got all the vital clues, and we would be like, where was that? And they would say, oh, I guess I didn't take a note on that. And you just wanted to like, tear your hair out in frustration. So these are key. I would highly recommend those. All right, I probably won't show them during the video, but you'll just hear me scrabbling away. The other thing you need is your scenario deck. These are really cool. So this is the baseboard. As you can see, it's totally plain and devoid, generic. And what builds the game, sorry about that, is the scenarios decks. And these you purchase separately. They're like $20 for one, maybe. I'm sure you could pick them up used. Like after you played it, if you're like, I'm done with this and I've seen it, oh my gosh, this would be a great thing to pick up used. They are hidden information. So a lot of times they'll have things in them that say, do not open before starting the game. So there are important timing to the deck. So whatever you do, don't turn the cards over and look at them all, because you'll ruin it. You'll ruin it. So we're gonna do Expedition Endurance. And what does this say on it? 1914, I think it says. Oh, it's in such tiny writing. I threw away the box, sorry. Don't judge. This is the one we're gonna do. And No, it says don't open until we start, but we're starting, so it's okay. Every game starts with what's called the base, and this is where all of the time travelers begin, and this is where we get all of our information, okay? And any location we go to is going to be set up along this bottom board here. And you'll see at the bottom of the card, there are going to be letters. So it tells you, okay, I should have A through F of base cards. So you know exactly how many you should be putting down so you don't turn over too many, right? So it comes with a little bit of information and flavor text. And there might be a bit of reading in this run through. I apologize for that. Maybe I'll figure out how to freeze the cards. We'll see. We'll see how ambitious I'm feeling. You never know. I might surprise you guys. Whoops. But I know if you're like me, like trying to read while things are moving gives me like the worst headache. So I try very hard to hold my cards still. But the introduction for this one says, you have been waiting in the briefing room for 15 minutes when Bob hurries in, more stressed than usual. He addresses you. Sorry I'm late. Sam's currently out of order. It's running a loop and talking about missing data cubes. The techs have their hands full because it seems that many models of the same type have broken down one after another. We're forced to work with an old machine, and Laura's in a meeting with the hygiene committee. In short, we're not running at 100%. Oh, great. Now take turns revealing and reading cards B through F one by one. All right, well, we'll take turns. So this would be first one. All right, so we're building our base. And, you know, to keep everyone involved, everyone gets to read a card, but just you and me, so we get to read them all. I'm assuming this is Bob. Ah, yes. Having calmed down a bit, he continues. All right, kiddos, I won't hide the situation is dire. An anomaly of the worst sort has just opened up in 1914 in Antarctica. The exact date is October 24th. As to the place, if I say the Endurance Expedition, does that ring a bell? No? The crew of the Endurance attempted to cross Antarctica from end to end in 1914. That was heck of a gamble, and as it happens, they failed their attempt. Don't try to change that, actually. That expedition becomes famous because of its failure. The survivors managed to hold out almost 2 years in minus 45-degree weather. In short, it's a cold and miserable place. I won't give you a step-by-step. You're going to get time back on its normal track in as few attempts as possible. Okay? Okay. We want it to fail. Wow, we are mean people. Okay. C. What's next? We have no idea what could be happening over there, but it's very rare for a space-time disturbances to reach this level. Be very careful out there. Okay, so we really don't know what's going on. Thanks, Bob. You must find the source of this interference and, if possible, fix the problem. I suspect the intervention of supernatural forces. Which will be a strain on your nerves. Oh no, did I pick a Cthulhu one? A first-generated robotic assistant named T.I.O. appears and begins speaking with a very unpleasant nasal metallic voice. Okay, let's see what we can do with that. During this mission, your receptacles, the members of a specific expedition, will be defined as followed. Okay, here are our characteristics. Strength, instinct, intelligence, and willpower. I picked a Cthulhu. T.I.O. drones on, conveying information with his monotonous tone. All right, so sanity and insanity. Oh, do we want to play this? All right, let's go for it. Shuffle and place the 6 insanity cards on Codex 1. All right. 6 insanity cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. I got 6 of them. You'll see they're labeled insanity down near the bottom. We're going to give them a little shuffle here. We're going to place them. So I'm guessing one way that this time loop ends in failure is if we all go insane or some of us go insane. Okay. Codex 1. Got it. In addition to its resistance and its life points, your receptacles also have a number of sanity points. Oh, right. So in this game, you go back in time and you're inserted into a body of a person who would be there. And those bodies are called receptacles. So you take on the ability of the bodies you inhabit. You're kind of a body snatcher, but they don't go into the morality of that. All right. Sanity points represented by brown tokens. During your adventure, it is possible that your sanity will be tested. All right. Okay, that is clearly a Cthulhu symbol. Hold on, let me show you that. Little tentacles. Red background with little black tentacles. Ooh, all right, let's see what happens here. Game. When the Cthulhu symbol appears, it's a traumatizing effect. One or more players must perform a willpower test without spending time units. To use time units. Each must get a number of successes at least equal to the value shown next to the Cthulhu on a single roll, or lose 1 sanity. Oh, that sounds horrible. Example, 3 Cthulhu appears on a card. The receptacle must perform a willpower test and get at least 3 successes on a single roll. Ouch. Okay. If you lose your last sanity token, you become insane. Randomly draw an insanity card and apply its effects. An agent cannot be affected by the same traumatizing event more than once per turn. Well, let's hope that never happens. Let's hope that never happens. Alrighty. Thank you for explaining insanity to us, TIO drone. Let's keep going. Bob resumes talking to give some final bits of advice. The ST probes have confirmed that you'll be facing something totally different from our usual foes. Picked up on that with the insanity stuff, Bob. Final preparations. All right, here we go. How do we set up the board? Place time item cards face down on their space. Okay. Okay, here they are. So we're going to grab all the item cards. Item cards on this game are very handily numbered in the top. So they tell you take item 13 and you go through and take it. So that's really nice. What else are we doing here, Bob? The 4 plan cards face up on their spaces. 4 plan cards. All right, we'll put those up in a second. Let's keep going. The group token on the boiler room, your arrival location, the time token unit on 30, 35 if you only have 3 agents. And okay, all right, so let's set the board up here. Okay, so item cards are up here in the corner, green on green. That's easy enough to do. We filled the Insanity and Codex 1. And this is really cool. I think this is such a smart idea. So you can move around to different locations, and when you do, you simply use the plan cards. And these all go up here in this corner. And all you do is you lay these out into a picture that makes sense. Okay? So, oh, looks like we're building a boat. Ooh, that's cool. All right, so this must be the endurance that gets, I'm going to assume, iced in. And when the game starts, all right, we only have 4 locations available to us. Boiler room, dining room, kitchen, kennel. Now as the game progresses and we find different ways in, you'll either replace these or put something on top of these, so more areas of this map will open up. We arrive in the boiler room, and to symbolize that, you have this tiny little white peg with nothing on either ends. There's no player marker on it. So this represents our group. And so we know we're going to get put into the time loop here at the boiler room. So this is sort of the overview map, okay? We're also told that 30 time units is all we get for our first run. Okay, so I'll stick my time unit marker down there. 35 if we only have 3 agents. Oh, so that's a good question. How many agents? I've only ever played this with 4. All right, well, give me your thoughts. We'll pick agents and upload, I guess. How many agents should we play with? I'll show them to you. We can take a look at all their plan Place 2 successful failed mission cards face down on their space. Okay, let's find those. Okay, so this is what happens if you fail the mission, you read this card. If you succeed in the mission, you read this card. Okay. I'm just gonna stick those up here next to our item cards. Okay, that one's done. And the final one, what is that? Transfer. Okay, each player chooses a receptacle, and we'll go through those in a second, and places its life and sanity points. Keep the reference close by. Determine who's time captain. That player closes the base and puts it away next to the board, then opens the boiler room. Okay. Reads out card A, and this is how the adventure begins. All right, so it looks like characters are next. But before I do that, I did want to give you, because I think this is so classy, how the location cards work. So when you lay them out, you'll put them out face down, and when you line them all up, they make a really cool panorama. So technically, I ruined some of the immersion for you. I apologize. We should have lined them up, flipped them over, and then read them. But you get this nice panoramic view of your location. All right? But this location is now done. So we're going to, it helps if you put them back in the right order because sometimes you have to revisit a location. All right? So this is our base. Locations we have sort of gone through already sit over here. Okay? With base card A. All right, that's the location we've been to. The next location it said to find was the boiler room, right? Oh, these are our characters. Oh, cool. And there's the icon reference. Oh, cool. All right, well, let's set up boiler room first. And boiler room only has 3 cards, A, B, and C. So we're going to put these face down. A, B, exclamation part, interesting. C, so this is a very small starting location. But yeah, already this isn't looking good. There appears to be, well, obviously a lot of ice and a dead dude with his legs hanging out. It looks like heat is still rising from him. Maybe he's napping? We'll find out. All right, so this is the boiler room. This is our location, but who are we? Ah, yes. So let's look at who we can be here. Looks like our first choice is Peter Mountain Edwards. He's a mountainous deckhand. Looks like a hardy fellow. Oh, Mary Florentino, the professor's assistant, a woman. Interesting. Ray Mackenzie, an experienced sailor. He looks shifty to me. James Wilburn, a greasy mechanic. René Lemarchand, a French handyman, who also looks shifty. Oh no, Fenrir, here's an alpha male. We can play a dog. Oh no, I really want to play the dog, but if the dog dies, you guys, I'm gonna lose it, and then I'm gonna play the whole game trying to just keep the dog alive. It'll be like Trinket from Critical Role. Okay, shoot, I really want to play the dog. Maybe we'll play 4 characters and one of them will be the dog? How can a dog be a character? It can't carry anything. I guess it can't go insane. We'll have to see. Okay, well that's a good point. Let's turn them over and look at their abilities here. Where is the mountain man? Here he is. So, Peter's first. Yes, there are abilities here. So he starts at 2 sanity. Let's lay these. I always find it's better, like what does 2 sanity mean? I don't know. You gotta look at them all and see, is that a high sanity, a low sanity, a standard sanity? You gotta game the system, man. You gotta game the system here. Okay, so here are our people. Yes, and as I thought, the dog does not have sanity. Interesting. Everyone else has a base sanity of 2. Okay, and their stats were, icon sheet, strength, instinct, intelligence, and willpower. Ooh, and they are all over the board. So obviously, Peter Mountain Edwards, he's very high on strength, low on instinct and intelligence, strong on willpower. Mary is the opposite, right? Low on strength, strong on intelligence. We're the handyman. Okay, so there's 2 sailors. All right, let's get these in order. So we have 2 sailor choices, 2 sort of handyman mechanics, and a random woman. Interesting, interesting. So what do you think, guys? Who should we be? Who should we be? What are your choices? Let's just pull them up. I'll let you take a little look at them individually. And then you can tell me your thoughts. So our 2 sailors are Mountain Man and Ray. They're pretty comparable in stats, it looks like. They're both good fighters. Ray looks like he might be a little bit tougher. They have different specials. On willpower tests, he gets a bonus. That might be good if there's insanity. And an adrenaline rush. So if we get to fight, he gets a bonus. So fighting or staying sane. Okay, those are our first 2. The mechanic / handyman, again, so the Frenchie here, he's solid. He's 2s across the board. Our little handyman, he's a little weaker on fighting, but he's a little stronger on instinct. Their specials is, he's lucky. So if he totally whiffs it, he gets to re-roll any of those 2 tests. The mechanic, he's able to lockpick. That's all he does. Makes me think there's lots of picks to lock. So those are those 2. And then the last 2, of course. Oh, the dog. I'm so conflicted. All right. Mary, our lone female. What good is she? She can't fight. She has no instinct, but she's had book smarts and willpower. Typically, that's how most women are portrayed. She is a bookworm, of course, and she gets a super ability to score higher on book tests. So, I don't know. I guess there's lots of information we can learn, maybe? I don't know. And finally, our doggy, Fenrir. Oh, he's like, is that Yggdrasil? Right? Isn't that Norse mythology? I don't know. Thor stuff? I'm not sure. So interesting. He can only fight and he only has instinct. So obviously he can't read a book. He also can't go crazy. He is a sleigh dog. He cannot go insane. He can only carry 1 item. He can't use any. He cannot pick locks. Again with the locks. He has no book learning. He cannot read. He automatically starts, interesting, with 1 green item. And he can only use it once. We don't know what that item is. Interesting. I don't know about him. Anyway, so those are our choices, guys. Tell me what you think. Should we run the dog? Yay or nay? This is weird. I've never played a game that didn't have a human receptacle. And if the dog dies, my heart will die too. So should we play the dog? Question number 1. Question number 2, how do we want to build our crew? Do we want to lose all fighting altogether and make us a lock-picking nerdy bunch? Do we want to leave in our fighting and get rid of the brains of the crew and just be like big dumb muscle? What do you think? I have no idea. I have no idea what's ahead. All I know for sure is there's insanity ahead and apparently lots of locks to be picked. This is where we start. Picking our characters and then launching into the boiler room. I'm excited to try this one. I really enjoy this game. I just hope I can remember everything I need to remember playing solo. But we'll see. I believe in you guys. You guys are going to keep me on the straight and narrow. Be my second, third, fourth, fifth, nth brain. I'm going to need it. Let's look at, before we begin, let's just check out what that icon is. Like all good games, there's a nice little iconography. Iconography? I don't know. You know what I mean. An index of the icons. At least 1 agent must move onto this card when the location is open. All right. So remember, we're technically in the boiler room. That's here on these 3 cards. Within the boiler room itself, however, are specific locations. All right. So we could send a person to investigate the body, or we can send a person to investigate the stairs. And the way we do that, now there might be more, obviously, cards at different locations, is we take our player icons. So let's say we're playing Mary. She's going to be pink. You know what? No, she's not. She's not going to be pink. She's going to be blue. And she also comes with this little cute little one. So in case you want to remind yourself where you are, she's going to be blue. So we would say Mary is going to go check out the dead body, and we would stick her here. And let's say we're playing Mountain Edwards and he's going to be pink. What do you think about that? I'll put a pink marker on him, and he decides he wants to go check out the stairs, and he'll go here, okay? And we'll divide our people. You can have more than one person. We could send everybody here if we really felt like it. But these little markers are going to be placed on the cards themselves just to remind you where you are. And in a, normal game with more than one person, the person on the location reads the card. So in this case, the player Mary and Mountain Man would each get to look at this card, and then it would get replaced face down. These two players would not get to read the card. So after everybody reads your card, you kind of give out, you reinterpret it, you put your own spin on it, you say what you saw on the card or what you read on the card. You don't have to read it verbatim. And then you put it back down. So if I want to have a look at it and I'm green, I have to, on my next turn, move here, and then I'm allowed to actually see the card. Does that make sense? You'll see it as it plays out. But anyway, we need 3 or 4 characters, possibly the dog. I don't know. Help me out. Let's pick our people and get started on this doomed expedition into Antarctica. Time Stories, very excited, guys. We picked the Cthulhu one. Let's go.